assist. Four in a row. That's how you close. That's the work of a closer. This guy knows how to finish a 10th.
What is going on, everybody? It is Frank the Tank, and that was the Crux Prime Part 3. So, finally, I was able to get a good 3-game series with this ball. After the first 2 parts were, like, for the time, at that time, they were pretty good for the way I was playing in those times, but, you know, like today, that's kind of unacceptable. But now, I guess, finally, I was able to put together some results that are acceptable for the skill level of which I play now. So, I admit, I wasn't really thinking clearly with the layout because, you see, I feel like this ball, naturally, it's supposed to react early and be super strong when it touches friction. And I feel like I made a mistake because I put a different layout. I didn't put 85 by 4 1/4 by 50. I actually put, let me take a look here. I actually put 75 by 3 3/4 by 35, which technically is almost the exact same thing as 85 by 4 1/4 by 50. The only difference is I believe the pin is probably a little bit higher. I can't remember, but I know basically the mass bias and the pin are almost in the exact same direction that the 85 by 4 1/4 by 50 layout is. But when it comes to reaction, the difference between those two layouts are 85 by 4 1/4 by 50, you get a decrease in your flare, and the ball rolls a lot more, so you get an increase in the roll. It makes the ball more rolly. And with the 75 by 3 3/4 by whatever that was, it has the ball reacting sooner, but it's not going to pop off the spot like, you know, like the 85 by 4 1/4 by 50 layout. So that was the big difference, and you can actually see it if you look at my Omega Crux video, which, if you haven't seen it, you should. I really recommend you should. Probably one of the best 3-game series I've ever played. Yeah, that let's see, the layout that I had on this Crux Prime, I mean, you could see it almost made it look like as if the ball is not reacting super early. It makes it look like it pushes further down there, and it doesn't really hook like crazy. And I feel like that was probably a bad move on my part because, you know, maybe I should have put 85 by 4 1/4 by 50 because I feel like this ball naturally is supposed to respond early and just, you know, check mark and just roll really, really hard. And yeah, I thought maybe that would even it out, but really it made it kind of not too good. But, you know, I'm glad I was able to at least put in a really good 3-game series. And overall, this ball, now that I am more aware of, you know, this stuff, and, like, you know, with layouts and covers and, you know, what, you know, reading ball motion better, I can officially say now that this Crux Prime, it's good, but the biggest problem is that spec solid cover stock. Now, I don't know if I said this in part 2 or part 1, but I'm saying it now. that spec solid reactive cover was the problem. One of the biggest issues that I had with it, because I did play quite a number of games with this ball, like actually not too many, but I remember not too long ago from when I made when I was out there filming this, I played 6 games with this Crux Prime, and after those 6 games, the lanes already started getting toasted to a point where I had to be making some pretty big moves to the left. So yeah, I don't. I want to say that this ball doesn't really handle the breakdown too well, and you have to be very, very careful because this, just like this happens no matter what you do. It's like you're always gonna, if you're always bowling on that same path. For like a certain amount of games, you're going to create like dry spots, if you know what I mean, or a dry spot. So you have to be careful not to hit that spot because the ball will check early. So that's why you have to move left and be careful not, just you have to pass right by it and not pass over it because, the ball will read early. And this ball did not really do a great job at being able to handle that. So, yeah, that was issue number 1, and issue number 2 was obviously this spec solid reactive cover, man. It absorbs like a freaking ShamWow. It is unbelievable. Like I tried many other bowling balls, and they do not absorb oil like this one does. So I think that makes it evidently clear that if this ball were still in production today, that this ball would probably only be best suited for those really heavy oil patterns, or maybe the even long ones too, because of how strong it is. But yeah, if I had to say, like between I've never tried the Crux or the Crux Pearl, and I never will. I don't know. I know I probably shouldn't judge the book like by its cover, but I feel like I probably wouldn't like those. As of right now, the Omega Crux is actually my number 1 favorite ball out of the Crux series. I know, crazy, right? But because of that 85 by 4 1/4 by 50 layout, it has become one of my most used bowling balls and one of my favorites because of the results I've been able to produce with it. And this Crux Prime, because the Omega Crux and the Crux Prime are the only things in the Crux series that I've used, the Crux Prime goes to the bottom. I'm sorry, but that spec solid reactive, man, it just doesn't work. So yeah, I guess that's really my take on it. It sucks that I have to speak kind of poorly of this ball, but what else can I say? I mean, maybe it might work for some of you. I know some of you out there might favor it, but it just didn't work for me. And I think maybe the results might have been a little better if I put my favorite layout on it rather than this 75 by 3 3/4, because it made it hard for me to be able to see the clear picture. And I said something like this with the wipeout where like I struck quite a bit, but it was in order for the ball for me to be good, it has to do those 2 things. It has to be easy for me to find the pocket, find a good path to the pocket, and be able to repeat shots easy. And I also had to be able to see that picture clearly as well. So it didn't really do those 2 things for me. But I blame myself for making the decision to put that layout on it when I probably should have done my number 1 layout. So yeah, that is that. So. Now the question is that we've tried the Omega, we've tried the Crux. I will not try the Crux or the Crux Pro, especially because they're discontinued and they're even harder to find. But now the question is, where do we go from here?